Have you guys played Terminal Attack? I have, and yeah, let me give you guys my thoughts on the upcoming ranked changes. In Season 3 of the finals, the official ranked mode has been swapped from cash-out tournaments to Terminal Attack, and to almost everyone apparently, this was considered kind of a dick move. And I mean, I get it. Before the news dropped, I must have played Terminal Attack for a whole total of 10 rounds or 15 rounds or however much I needed to play in order to complete the challenges, which would give me some cool limited edition skins, and I hated every single second of it. I was bored out of my mind and I was debating giving up and turning my stream off. In fact, I had already attempted it once before, but I immediately quit after I died because I had to wait 2 whole minutes before I'd actually get to play again. It's safe to say I don't really like Terminal Attack. It's unnecessarily slow, it's unbalanced, and it completely goes against the core of the finals. The finals is all about chaos, destruction, and intense moments. It's not Counter-Strike. But the worst part of Terminal Attack, as it is right now, is that I just can't care. I'm put into this slow, drawn-out experience that I don't enjoy, and I'm forced to sit here and spectate as these slow rounds play out if I die. And if I leave, I get penalized. They should have added like a TikTok integration or something so I could do something once I'm forced to just sit around and spectate. Because I don't care whether my teammates clutch up or not. It's a casual game mode. The outcome just doesn't matter, but more on that later. And going off the community's reaction to the news, it appears a lot of people don't either. Like some, or maybe many, loudly voiced their displeasure all over the Reddit and the official Discord. I mean, for the first 24 hours after the trailer dropped, the Discord was constantly lit up with angry comments. There was review bombing, there were countless petitions, and it never really stopped. And that's just crazy. I think it's good that you guys let your opinions be heard, because how else are the developers gonna know whether you support the upcoming changes or not? But apparently some of you guys took it way too far. Directly messaging developers is already kind of breaching a line, but threatening, harassing, and even sending death threats is just taking it way too far. I have no idea how many people actually did go to this point, but it was enough that people mentioned it. So take a deep breath. It's a game mode in a video game that you like, I assume. But you have to remember, it's not like the game in its current state was doing itself any favors. I'm not gonna lie, we have had cash out ranked for the last 2 seasons, and all that we've seen is a decrease in the player base. And while I don't have the exact numbers for how many people play ranked and not, I wouldn't be surprised if the ranked population is really small, even when compared to the rest of the player base. I mean, when we went for a win in every server for a challenge, I spent over 40 minutes, both in South America and in Oceania, and ended up not even finding a game on either server before I gave up. If I queued normal modes, the queues would pop. And I was already struggling to get games together after Embark already had removed one of the rounds from the ranked tournaments to help with the matchmaking, where they changed the amount of teams to start a lobby from 16 to 8. They already saw a problem back then and tried to fix it, but it wasn't enough. Also, anecdotal evidence, but I feel like most streamers that come from other games seem to always be playing Terminal Attack instead of any of the cash out variants. Embark also immediately not only brought Terminal Attack back for a week after it was over, but by the time that week was over, they decided to extend it for the rest of the season. So they really don't want it out of the game either. And when you put all the pieces together at the current moment, there's a good chance that there is a way bigger player base in Terminal Attack than there is in the game's own ranked mode. With that in mind, Embark's decision may not seem as out of the blue as I thought. Though obviously I'm not the biggest fan, because at the moment I really don't like Terminal Attack. I cannot stress that enough, and I had to go through a lot of soul searching to arrive where I am at today, because after the trailer dropped, I am not lying, I stayed up the entire night, just being on the Discord, reading forums, and just kind of feeling terrible about the whole thing, because I love the game, I love creating content about it and in it, but Terminal Attack is going to change the way I stream, the way I make content, and I felt like there was a big risk that it could even kill the game at the same time. I was worried that changing to Terminal Attack would kill the game off completely, in which case, whatever type of content I make wouldn't even matter. I ended up posting 3 videos yesterday covering the whole ordeal, but nothing about my thoughts on the situation, which is what you're watching now. As I kept doing research for these videos, documenting the upcoming changes and raising the comments left by developers in their Discord, the whole image started becoming a lot more clear to me, and I started to realize that the change to terminal attack might not be as bad as everyone thinks. So first and foremost, the terminal attack that we currently have is not the terminal attack that we get. There are tons of changes, including, but not limited to, there being a small setup time before the round starts, or at least that's how I understand it, the destruction not resetting as you switch between attackers and defenders, and of course, most importantly, starting a decryption actually needs you to interact with the terminal instead of just yeeting it in, and then there's even more. This, along with some balance changes and new weapons and gadgets that come with Season 3, might very well make the mode a lot more balanced competitively, which can lead to a far more enjoyable experience, especially in ranked. Secondly, I think that while terminal attack is a really boring game mode, I've said it so many times in this video and I'll stand by it, I'm trying to play it on stream and just learn how to play it, learn the meta and how to kind of approach the game, and I'm just not having a good time. It is so boring. But as I hinted earlier, it seems more noob friendly. Wrapping your head around the quick cash or cash out as a beginner is a lot to take in if you're coming from most other games, but terminal attack is simpler and it resembles, search and destroy or bomb style modes that we've seen in modern shooters for the last 20 years. Noobs are more likely to check that mode out and maybe even give the ranked version of it a try. I also think that while terminal attack is a snooze fest, the main reason it is so boring is not necessarily because of its design, but because it is a casual game mode. Winning or losing doesn't matter, and there's no emotional investment whatsoever. I've played countless of hours of Counter-Strike and competitive Apex, and those games can be way slower than terminal attack ever wants to be. I mean, if you play zone in Apex, you go rotate, oh yeah, you gotta make it right rotation and go to the spot, and then you go sit in on house and you just go AFK. You could pull up your minesweeper or something and just sit on that thing for 15 minutes before the game actually picks up again. And the thing is that while terminal attack does have long bouts of nothingness going on, that's completely fine if you're in a ranked playlist where your points are on the line, because while 1 minute of staring at an angle or holding whatever or waiting for a respawn is so boring, in a casual environment, knowing that your own rank depends on the outcome of this very game, maybe this very round or fight, will make that minute of nothingness feel not like nothingness. You will actually feel a tension building up, and if you pull off a clutch or something, it will just feel so much better than if you do that in a casual mode. The long response has you spectating your teammates and you're either yelling at the screen or you're hyping them up after an insane play. This emotional investment is key, and by moving terminal attack to ranked, we will get to see whether that is enough or not. In their announcement, Embark also made it clear that they're planning for this change to be temporary. They're moving the cash out tournaments to World Tour, where anyone can enjoy full tournaments in cash out style, but with a twist. They're going to be different rule sets, including but not limited to loadouts and maps, changing every 2 weeks. Embark said that they wanted to tweak cash out to make it more of a competitive experience, so they moved it into the casual playlist, which will allow them to make massive changes so you don't mess with the competitive integrity of your ranked mode. So this means that not only are Embark going to make big changes to cash out during Season 3, but we are probably going to get to test them out as they do so. And honestly, doing this may have been like a masterful play, you know what I mean? Because if terminal attack ranked and Season 3 as a whole is a flop, they can just chalk it up as a failed experiment and fall back on the fact that they've been improving on cash out for the entire season, with them bringing it back for Season 4 to thunderous applause. If terminal attack ends up succeeding, going beyond expectations and becoming more popular than the previous ranked ever dreamed to be, they might just keep it as a main game mode, bolstering the game's retention and play times, all while taking no risk. So if terminal attack works, great. If it doesn't, they have still bought themselves another season and a chance for a comeback. I think reworking cash out is great because, if I'm going to be honest, it was never really that competitively viable. If I'd ever host an esports tournament myself, I would keep it to free quick cash, so basically like the finals of a cash out tournament, maybe all the way to best of 5, so 50k instead of 30k, because the qualifying rounds that we have in cash out tournaments are ripe for griefing enemy teams, or they have entire lobbies stacking on 1 point while leaving the others untouched because they're too afraid of fighting whatever team is sitting on it. It is also vulnerable to third partying, and most teams in competitive and in the Asian servers do nothing but AFK while waiting for a third party to jump in and get that win for free. Many teams even start cash outs and give the point away so they themselves can third party as soon as another team pushes in. There's nothing more competitive than a true team versus team environment, and while I would have loved Embark to try something like my idea before swapping to terminal attack, it's still kind of close enough. The World Tour idea does seem interesting enough, and it seems like maybe we'll get a lot more fun, casual, party mode content this season, because, you know, basically every other week, we'll see a fresh playlist to try out. What's not to love? Either way, no matter the reason, whether that's dwindling player numbers, a dead ranked game mode, Embark just trying something different out, or something completely different that I haven't even brought up, I still believe that Embark has a solid plan. And of course, it almost goes without saying, but I'll say it anyways, the game's best interest in mind. We'll just have to wait and see how it will go, and I'm planning to be along for the journey. I'm curious to hear what you guys think about this, so let me know in the comments. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Peace out.